Teachings of Zhuang Zi. Flow with whatever may happen, and let your mind be free. Stay centered by accepting whatever you are doing. This is the ultimate. A path is made by walking on it. Rewards and punishment is the lowest form of education. The wise man knows that it is better to sit on the banks of a remote mountain stream than to be emperor of the whole world. Happiness is the absence of the striving for happiness. Forget the years, forget distinctions. Leap into the boundless and make it your home. To a mind that is still, the entire universe surrenders. To be truly ignorant, be content with your own knowledge. The sound of water says what I think. If you have insight, you use your inner eye, your inner ear, to pierce to the heart of things, and have no need of intellectual knowledge. We are born from a quiet sleep, and we die to a calm awakening. When the heart is right, for and against are forgotten. Great wisdom is generous, petty wisdom is contentious. And how do I know that the hate of death is not like a man who has lost his home when young and does not know where his home is to return to? Where is that man who has forgotten words that I may have a word with him? When affirmation and negation came into being, Tao faded. After Tao faded, then came one-sided attachments. Men honor what lies within the sphere of their knowledge, but do not realize how dependent they are on what lies beyond it. Cherish that which is in you and shut out that which is without, for much knowledge is a curse. Only he who has no use for the empire is fit to be entrusted with it. Where can I find a man who has forgotten words? He is the one I would like to talk to. Cease striving. Then there will be transformation. The petty thief is imprisoned, but the big thief becomes a feudal lord. The one-legged creature is envious of the millipede is envious of the snake is envious of the wind is envious of the eye is envious of the heart. To forget the whole world is easy, to make the whole world forget you is hard. You can't discuss the ocean with a whale frog, he's limited by the space he lives in. You can't discuss ice with a summer insect, he's bound to a single season. The man who has forgotten self may be said to have entered heaven. The perfect man uses his mind like a mirror, going after nothing, welcoming nothing, responding but not storing. It can be passed on, but not received. It can be obtained, but not seen. He who has mastered the true nature of life does not labor over what life cannot do. He who has mastered the true nature of fate does not labor over what knowledge cannot change. The little child learns to speak, though it has no learned teachers, because it lives with those who know how to speak. Your life has a limit, but knowledge has none. If you use what is limited to pursue what has no limit, you will be in danger. The sage is still not because he takes stillness to be good and therefore is still. The 10,000 things are insufficient to distract his mind, that is the reason he is still. A good completion takes a long time, a bad completion cannot be changed later. All men know the use of the useful, but nobody knows the use of the useless. Not to understand is profound, to understand is shallow. Not to understand is to be on the inside, to understand is to be on the outside. Flow with whatever may happen, plus let your mind be free. Stay centered, by accepting whatever you're doing. This is the ultimate. Let your mind wander in simplicity, blend your spirit with the vastness, follow along with things the way they are, and make no room for personal views, then the world will be governed. Words have value. What is of value in words is meaning. Meaning has something it is pursuing, but the thing that it is pursuing cannot be put into words and handed down. The spirit tower has its guardian, but unless it understands who its guardian is, it cannot be guarded. Things joined by profit, when pressed by misfortune and danger, will cast each other aside. Don't go in and hide, don't come out and shine, stand stock still in the middle. But a gentleman may embrace a doctrine without necessarily wearing the garb that goes with it, and he may wear the garb without necessarily comprehending the doctrine. To use a horse to show that a horse is not a horse is not as good as using a non-horse to show that a horse is not a horse. We can't expect a blind man to appreciate beautiful patterns or a deaf man to listen to bells and drums. And blindness and deafness are not confined to the body alone, the understanding has them, too. If you were to hide the world in the world, so that nothing could get away, this would be the final reality of the constancy of things. Teachings of Zhuang Zi. Do not use life to give life to death. Do not use death to bring death to life. Moreover, I have heard that those who are fond of praising men to their faces are also fond of damning them behind their backs. People who excuse their faults and claim they didn't deserve to be punished, there are lots of them. But those who don't excuse their faults and admit they didn't deserve to be spared, they are few. When a man does not dwell in self, then things will of themselves reveal their forms to him. His movement is like that of water, his stillness like that of a mirror, his responses like those of an echo. In the midst of darkness, he alone sees the dawn, in the midst of the soundless, he alone hears harmony. Understanding that rests in what it does not understand is the finest. When a hideous man becomes a father and a son is born to him in the middle of the night, he trembles and lights a lamp and runs to look in anguish on that child's face to see who he resembles. Eyes that are blind have no way to tell the loveliness of faces and features, eyes with no pupils have no way to tell the beauty of colored and embroidered silks. When men do not forget what can be forgotten but forget what cannot be forgotten, that may be called true forgetting. Don't you know about the praying mantis that waved its arms angrily in front of an approaching carriage, unaware that they were incapable of stopping it? Such was the high opinion it had of its talents. Men all pay homage to what understanding understands, but no one understands enough to rely upon what understanding does not understand and thereby come to understand.